That this, once again, is a North American Soccer League playoff game, the first round, which is a home-and-home series situation. However, San Diego won the first game Wednesday night against Chicago in California. Chicago had now come back and on their home field won this game against the San Diego Sockers, a game apiece. And so they'll go to a shorter game right now, to a 30-minute game, two 15-minute halves, and it'll be played exactly as the regular game is. Those who have been substituted for in the regular game may come back and play again. It's just as if the afternoon is starting again. Flipping a coin, I would say, imagine for which end of the field you're going to take, as normally. Yeah, there we are. It's supposed to be 10 minutes exactly between the regular game and the minigame, and it has been certainly a good deal longer than that. I would say 15 minutes at least. So, the referees, the officials finally out there, and the referee indicating he'd like to get them started, but not too urgently.
One interesting thing I see, you talk about players can come back even though they've been substituted for in the first half. Sanon, who went off very early in the first half, and we can expect we'd seen the end of him for the day because he seemed to be badly injured, is back on the field with his right knee heavily bandaged, but apparently he's going to start this minigame.
Okay, there is Sanchez. By the way, the referee might not be loath for a few extra minutes rest himself. There is David Socha, and he has gone all the way, remember. And how far does the referee run? Has anybody ever clocked that one out?
I think it's about the same as a midfielder would run, which is something just over 5 miles.
Over 5 miles he has run already today.
The referee runs it perhaps at a more controlled pace. The pace of soccer players tends to be very fast, loping, lolling, sprinting, you know, a whole combination of paces.
He's had more conversations this afternoon than they have on most talk shows.
Conversations?
In a week.
Is that what you call it?
Yes. For the Sockers, number 14, Peter O'Sullivan. He scored their second goal, coming in as a substitute. Played his international soccer for Wales, 5'6", 155. The official attendance, over 12,000 here today in this ballpark, which seats more than 45,000. Minigamepart, of course, the normal home of the Chicago White Sox of the American Baseball League. There's Phil Parks, the Chicago goalie, clothed immaculately in white today.
He'll have his gloves on now, very definitely, with this wet, slippery ball that he's going to have to face up to.
Terry Moore is in it right back, starting this game for San Diego. And Roman, Ty Keogh, Julie V. and Donnelly are in. O'Sullivan, Gene Wilridge. Sanon is back in the game.
It is surprising, Matt, because he seemed to be finished for the afternoon when he went off.
Okay, Chicago moving from right to left and moving very quickly to start things off on this minigame. There's Long, Steve Long, on his custom left side, trying to lose his man, but not doing so. 15 minutes in this half now, remember. There's goalie Gross, leaning against the post. And let's see, we're going to call that a very urgent whistle on the part of referee Socha. And he gives the ball to the San Diego Sockers. Goal kick for San Diego. No score in the minigame. Whoever wins this moves on to the next round of the playoffs next week. Chicago in black with the yellow pants if you've just joined us. San Diego all in yellow, or gold if you prefer. San Diego moving from left to right. Chicago getting possession again. And nobody really has possession so far in this decider game. Okay, that was Sanon with the bandage on his knee, starting the ball downfield for San Diego. Here they come, right to left. Wilridge, number 15, with the ball. And the overlapping fullback coming down the side, number 3, Terry Moore. There's Willie Roy, the Chicago coach, in his wet clothes. Another complaint. You know, I think he's hollering to one of his men to do something more correctly, to mark his man, as San Diego has this corner kick coming up. Wilridge takes those most of the time for them. He's got Sanon in the middle. Sanon closest to the goal, but he went to a man shorter, closer up, and Chicago took possession.
I think an example there, Jim, of what you can expect. That was a good pass hit by Stefan Hagen, lifted over a player, but as soon as it hit the turf. It sped off at 100 miles an hour. There was no way that Russell was going to catch up with that.
And now it's really started to rain hard again. San Diego, though, moving swiftly on this real turf. This is not artificial. It could get muddy after a while, but that would certainly take a while. Quite dry when the day began, although there was a little rain yesterday. Well, Julie V was going down in there and ran into number 8, Rudy Glenn. There you see the rain and an artistic dissolve through the audience watching the action. Okay, here comes Chicago. Granitza with the ball, loses it. Granitza being marked very well all afternoon, except one time when he got away. This right, Chicago in the black, but San Diego with the goal has the ball. Now Sanon goes down in the penalty area. No.
Well, undoubtedly,
Play goes on.
We can take another look at that because that looked as though it might have been rather a bad foul, in which case, of course, the referee, if he's going to call it, will have to call a penalty kick.
Which would take a lot of nerve in an important game like this minigame, where you don't have as much time to come back. There's headed away by Cuellar. Chicago still with the ball. Dick Advocat, who has come in not as a substitute really, but has started the minigame in place of Ingo Peter. 3 substitutes allowed in this game for each team, just as in the regular game. And here come the Sockers again, and again they are frustrated. No control of the game by either side so far. In the middle, we have Stevenhagen this time, trying to get away. Oh, almost got it to him, but he moved the other way as the ball came in. Really a good heavy rain now. Ron Newman. Here comes San Diego once again. We got Sanchez in the middle along with Sanon. The ball to Sanon, who was injured in the regular game, but has now begun to play again. And the swift Matthew comes to the sideline. Looked like Wilrich had grabbed his jersey, but nothing was called. Over the end line, that's going to be a corner kick for San Diego.
Well, I think you're right. I think his jersey definitely was grabbed. And he's complaining to the linesman about it. But he did a rather silly thing there again, trying to play that ball out rather too cleverly. He lost it, and they've had to give up a corner kick. I mean, corner kicks in this 15-minute first half
It is almost
3 times as dangerous as they are in a 45-minute half.
almost as dark as night here in Chicago, as Chicago takes over again. Here comes Martin Donnelly, number 2. Julie V. Lofting it in towards Sanchez. Sanchez pushed out, not literally so, but pushed out of the box by Mathieu. Sanchez now on the far side. He's got Sanon in the middle, along with Julie V. Still over the sideline, a throw in for San Diego. Pouring rain here now. Lofted in and headed away very well by Lukovic. And a shot by Wilrich that didn't have much chance. That'll be the goal kick. Remember, Wide World of Sports coming up over most of these ABC stations. Immediately following the soccer, we're going to run over into Wide World a little bit, but you'll still be seeing the Little League World Series, an annual occasion on Wide World from Williamsport, PA. Phil Parks, who's played very well in the goal mouth for Chicago today. He'd like to go to Soccer Bowl again this year, as he did last year with Vancouver. Had a disagreement with management, was sold to the Chicago Sting. You can see the rain now, can't you? Look at that. Really a full cloudburst now. I can't see where one team would be hurt more than the other by this rainstorm, can you?
No, I don't
They're
think
both
so.
attacking sides.
They're very similar teams in that sense, and what it does hurt, obviously, is control and the application of speed and acceleration, and they're pretty equal on those terms.
All right, here come the Sting with 8 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half of the minigame. That was thunder I heard, or I've never heard thunder before. It is so dark, it's hard to believe on your television screen for some reason or other. It always looks lighter than it does if you're here in person, because it's really dark. The lights are on, of course, on the playing field. Chicago, Stevenhagen now. Stevenhagen back to Koutsoukas, the young American college player. He's a Canadian by citizenship. There's Koutsoukas coming in. Down he goes. And he stays down, at least momentarily.
Because he went down very heavily because he was moving at full speed. He may have hurt himself on the fall rather than the actual tackle there.
Field getting very wet now. In the booth, however, we're extremely comfortable. Thank you. Fully air conditioned. Vern Lundquist, you must be getting a little wet.
You're right. As you described it, it's dark as night down here, and the field is beginning to show the effect of the rain. Is it really coming down?
Is it getting muddy now?
Only on the far right portion of the infield, not really out here in the midfield.
On the skin portion, huh?
Yes.
Where the baseball infield is. Okay. Still San Diego in the attack, but ball comes back towards midfield. Referee says play on. There was a foul, but he said call the advantage rule. And the Sockers still have the momentum. At least for the into the goal, is it good? San Diego has taken the lead. Very suddenly, Gert Wiesokowski, a defenseman from Germany. The Wiz, we called him earlier, and he is the Wiz for Southern California right now. In the pouring rain of Chicago, he has given San Diego the lead 1-0 in the so-called minigame.
Again, that's why we just haven't got Wilrich on that, but Wilrich was the player who started all that. There's a bouncing ball. It's not a good volley. It bounces about 3 times. Parks is late getting down to it, and it goes in just inside the post. So Chicago really got their work cut out now.
We have pouring rain on our monitors now. One of them went out at the instant the goal was scored. The other one flickered, but we have one, but we hope that'll hold up. Okay. Now San Diego very much in the driver's seat. 5 minutes. As you see, 54 seconds remaining in the first half of the minigame. Were it sudden death, it would be all over, but it isn't. It's a different sort of situation to decide the issue between these teams. Koutsoukas moves it across to the far side. Yeah, there you can see they're beginning to slip now. Chicago must tie it up if they're not going to be eliminated from the playoffs. If it finishes in a tie, this minigame, they'll go to a shootout. Let's have another look at it. Wiesokowski's goal.
With Wilrich pushing the ball through.
Okay, we're going back to live action because Chicago is driving. Granitza loses the ball, however. The worse it gets, the worse the footing gets, the worse it'll be for Chicago from here on, because they're the ones who have to be agile and score a goal. Lightning in the distance, pouring rain on the field, dark skies overhead. We've seen it all this afternoon. The first half, very rough. The second half, much more skillful. Another look at the goal, quickly.
That was the ball flicked up in the air, and there's that volley. You know, it's again, I think a lot of that has to do with the speed of the ball coming off wet turf. I think the speed of those bounces coming through took Parks a bit by surprise, because normally I feel sure he would have saved a shot like that.
Okay, San Diego getting a little bit more deliberate in the rain. With their lead of 1-0 with 4 minutes 15 seconds remaining in the first half of the second game of the day. The series tie-breaking game. San Diego with the ball. You can see a chunk of turf come up that time as the player slipped. Over to Dick Advocat. There's Willie Roy looking on. Steve Long, the winger on the left side, coming down that left side, gets past his man. The man catches up with him again. Back out to Wrestle. Wrestle has Granitza in the middle, but Granitza is very closely marked. Advocat moves it across to Koutsoukas into Granitza. Granitza to Matthew. Back out again to Matthew. Into the middle, and that header, a beautiful one by Wrestle, was tipped up over the goal by Volkmar Gross. A beautiful, beautiful move.
A marvelous piece of soccer altogether, and credit Mathieu because he lost the ball, he got it back, he put over another good center. Russell was in there very quickly with a leaping, twisting header, and Gross, a marvelous bit of reaction, tipping the ball over the bar. I was just going to say before that happened that Russell was the man I would give the ball to under these conditions, but of course on the ground, and he comes in and does a header, because he's such a good dribbler, and it's very difficult once you've turned a fullback round with his dribbling for that fullback to recover.
Corner kick by Granitza, curling into the middle, but headed away by San Diego. And here they come. Sanon is all by himself down the middle of the field. Going recovering not as quickly as he normally would because of that injured right knee, but he's in the game. The cloudburst continuing in Chicago. Dick Advocat now, number 22, getting it to Steve Long with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half of the tiebreaker. I got to wrestle again. This time 2 men were on him. Advocat goes for the ball but can't get it. However, Chicago does regain possession. And there is Derek Spalding. Spalding hasn't been in this game too much in the second half.
Well, he's primarily contenting himself with a defensive role. He's not catching our eye as much, but he's doing some pretty solid work back there.
Advocate now moving towards the penalty area, in the middle, towards Granitza, back out again. Stephen Huggins in the penalty area also. Out to the corner to Matthew. The Haitian, the thunderclap overhead. A long, high lofted shot right to Bruce. Getting to look like something out of Wagner around here, isn't it?
Sturm and Drang.
Okay, throw in.
The elephant we had, I suppose that
could be. Well, we've lost one monitor. We're about to lose the other.
Oh, there's a little
there
flicker left on the other one.
Yes, just a flicker coming back weakly. There's Koutsoukas, number 13, out of the University of Massachusetts. Played very well today. He's a rookie. Ingo Peter coming into the game now. Remember, he played the entire first game. When they started this game, he did not start. Advocate started. So now Peter can come back in as a substitute in this game. In this shorter game, the tiebreaker, each team gets 3 substitutes, just as they do in a regular game. Play has resumed with the throw in by Chicago. Charlie Ficus has also come into the game, number 9 for Glenn. Chicago trailing by 1-0 in the series tiebreaker. They've got to come back again. They did by winning the first game today. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in the first half of the tiebreaker. And it's going to be a free kick for Chicago. Another thunderclap. Wall has been set by San Diego. Granitza with that powerful left foot. Nope, nope. Too high. It'll be a goal kick for San Diego. Again, they lead 1-0 with 1 minute left in the first half of the series tiebreaker. It's going to have to be come back all the way for Chicago if they're going to stay alive. San Diego, a very good playoff team. Last year they surprised everybody by how far they went. They may do it again this year. They're a much stronger side than they were earlier in the season. They have Sanchez, whom they got from his Mexican team late in the year. They have Manu Sanon.